And now for today's engine detail on the GTI again. You can see here where I have put a nice fluffy microfiber into the turbo intake because we don't want to get water in it while the car is running. We could really mess the motor up. And it's always good to have the car running when you're doing an engine detail during the process of getting it wet, so that if some area, like in the where the spark is at, gets wet or something like that, you won't have any trouble getting it to start because it's always running, and it'll dry out before you turn it off, and then you have no issues. Now, some of the newer cars that might not matter as much on, but a rule of thumb is to do it anyway. That way you have nothing to regret. So, let's get started. We're going to spray it down with a standard all-purpose cleaner. Just a nice thin spray across everything. And then we're going to fire this hose up and wash it out real good. This engine's been cleaned many times before, so it's going to be a real easy one. And then we're going to let it drip dry while we do some window coating, and then we'll come back and we'll blot up any wetness after we're totally done and we turn the car off. And then we'll dress some of the parts that are harder plastic that can be dressed in shiny, and make sure there's no spots on the carbon fiber intake and whatnot. And Dr. Winston will be real happy as always. Now, when doing the engine, we always want to start at the top here and work our way around, and try not to get this thing too wet because it can get waterlogged. So let's get started with the degreaser, and then we'll fire the engine up just before we get the water on it. Now, I work from the jams in. Is sort of my method. I suppose it doesn't matter. If you're OCD like me and you really love the process, then you have a process for everything. And that's exactly the deal. For me, I have a process for everything. Everything is super organized until I'm so tired I don't care anymore. And that does happen every so often. So this ought to be just about enough. We'll finish off a little bit here in the middle. We'll go get the key and fire this bad boy up before we get it too wet. And then we'll get it cleaned up. All right. Let's go find the key real quick. Here it is. trouble on that and see how much we can take care of the damaged area there before I'm totally done. And then we'll run a towel over everything and kind of do a quick dry before we shut the hood and let it do the rest of the drip dry. But that won't be it. We'll come back after it drip dries for a little while and we'll pop it back open and we'll blot everything up one more time and see what needs to be dressed and wiped. At that point, it'll be pretty clean. And it'll be real easy to tell what needs to be taken at that point. So, what I was talking about is down in here, in this little area here, we're getting a little corrosion down there, and the doctor was concerned that we might have to take the battery out to get to it, but a good bit of it's already rinsed off with just the cleaner, and so I think I can do a dry rub and get it looking pretty good to his liking. And everything else cleaned up really good because we've done this engine a few times and it has been dressed and wiped and polished everywhere. So it cleans up real nice. And boy, that ain't a neat looking booster right there. He had an upgraded boost put on at the dealer. And this thing will rock. Very fun driver. Very fun to drive. And when you've had a bad day, it will make you smile. back and